On this $180 smartphone you get a 120Hz AMOLED panel with 1000 nits of brightness, 108 megapixel camera setup, 256 GB of internal storage, even 33-watt fast charging with a charger included. All this value looks quite suspicious, so let's see what we're dealing with. This is the Tecno Spark 20 Pro Plus, which is basically Tecno's most powerful budget smartphone ever. So these are the 7 things I think Tecno smashed here. You ready? Let's go. First is the unboxing experience. At this price do we actually get complete items in the box? Underneath the smartphone you get a charging brick, a USB-C cable and quite surprisingly, a USB-C pair of earphones. I think this is the first time I've ever seen one of these, and why it's like this is because of the lack of a headphone jack on this phone. Additionally, there's a squidgy TPU case and a screen protector, which is amazing. Who remembers the last time Samsung or Apple gave us this much stuff? But nonetheless, I'm glad that even in 2024 we are going to get a lot of stuff at a budget margin. Second is the build, and before I continue I just want to express how glad I am at how Tecno introduced a new design language to their upper budget phone lineup. This actually feels like a proper $1,000 flagship phone. The rear and sides are made of plastic, which isn't very surprising for the price, but the thing is that you barely notice it. It feels amazing with the curved front and rear. The weight is about 190 grams, which is very light for a phone of this size, and at 7.5mm it is one of the slimmest smartphones in the world. And this phone is very, very durable. It can be passed through a scratch test, a drop test and so much more because of the protection put here. You can try to bend this phone and you would actually fail to do so. This phone also features Gorilla Glass 5, which is very tough even in 2024. So even without the TPU case and the screen protector made available in the box, you can be sure of the protection you'd be getting here. Third is the display. It's a nice 6.78-inch AMOLED panel with a 120Hz refresh rate, which is very smooth during navigation of the system UI. This display is protected by Gorilla Glass 5, which is nice, and it is usable outdoors because of its insane brightness levels. You could actually compare this display to that of a top-tier flagship phone and not differentiate between both. And though we aren't getting a Quad HD panel, I can say this isn't an area to complain because this is probably the screen resolution which 90% of people would use. So another is the performance. This phone is powered by the MediaTek Helio G99, and wait, before you complain, this isn't the same chip which powers the Infinix Hot 40 Pro. This one is called the MediaTek Helio G99 Ultimate, which is custom made for this Spark 20 Pro Plus and built on a 6nm process rather than 12nm of the regular one. And it has been tweaked to counter overheating issues, improve frame rate rendering, etc. It actually makes this phone score a decent amount of points on Antutu and Geekbench, which does translate to decent gaming. You could run top-of-the-line games like Call of Duty Mobile and Genshin Impact at medium settings, though at high frame rates. And it does expose the device to incredible RAM management. This device has 256 GB of unexpandable storage and 8 GB of RAM, which can be expanded by an extra 3 GB, 5 GB or 8 GB, any one you actually prefer. And even with the supposed RAM expansion, everything looks the same. It's not a noticeable increment to performance. But I'm glad it's here. This phone runs Tecno's HiOS software slapped on Android 14, and the crazy part is that for the first time ever on a Tecno budget phone we're being promised 2 years of major Android updates, which is insane. If Tecno goes ahead and fulfills this promise of theirs, they could finally get closer to Xiaomi, who's done this with their budget Redmi lineup. And the software experience is good. HiOS may be light, but it's not trying to be into your face. The customization options is quite sufficient, and though there's minimal bloatware, there's not a single ad to be found, which is what everyone wants, especially on a phone at this price point. Everything seems neatly stacked, all the way from the icon arrangement down to the positioning of the quick toggles on the notification shade. Point is, software isn't lacking, which kinda begs why on earth this phone can be obtained almost anywhere for $200, whilst I've seen $500 phones which don't do as much. I think I found out. Because there's no way corners hadn't been cut to make this phone so affordable. So let's take a look at the cameras, because this could be the one massive caveat I've been searching for. Specs wise, it doesn't sound impressive at all. We get a 108 megapixel main camera, which is good, but the only camera which accompanies it is a 0.8 megapixel auxiliary lens to help in-depth perception. The cameras is just the way we expect for the price, with good dynamic range and consistent balancing of colors. The cameras can get up to 3x optical zoom and 10x digital zoom. The stabilization is good and 2K video is okay, though I would have preferred 4K. So to put it simple, I don't think the cameras is this phone's weakest point. I can even say that it's one of the strongest. For extras, this phone has stereo speakers, a 5000 mAh battery with 33 watt fast charging, a recyclable rear, and even IP53 dust and splash proof. I don't know how the hell Tecno pulled this off, but it's definitely not gonna last forever, so I definitely recommend it. Additionally, there's an ongoing gossip about Tecno starting to copy OnePlus, as this phone closely resembles the OnePlus 11, but I don't care if it is so, and I don't think anyone will. If you've watched this far, thanks so much, and subscribe to the channel for more videos. I'm Hillary, this is Harry21, and I'll catch you in the next one.